A sexual assault suspect faces charges in a case the Wayne County prosecutor calls one of the worst she's ever seen. A Detroit Lions player wanted by police for nearly the past 2 weeks. What a Florida sheriff and the Lions organization are saying about cornerback Cam Sutton. Hey, Kim.
Hey, it's the first full day of spring and it feels like winter with temps in the 30s and wind chills in the teens, and we have some snow in the forecast. We'll talk about it coming up.
The good, the bad, and the indifferent of an early spring and a pretty mild winter.
But has significant impacts both to the outdoor recreation economy, but then also to the larger issues.
The first full day of spring means something very different after the winter we just had.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
The suspect in a string of home invasion sexual assaults appeared in court to face charges this afternoon. The Wayne County prosecutor says 52-year-old Michael Holcomb of Ecorse entered a house in Dearborn and sexually assaulted two sisters, one 78 years old, the other 85. I want you to listen to these charges. 5 counts of first-degree criminal sexual conduct, 2 counts of torture, 1 second-degree CSC, and 2 counts of assault with intent to do bodily harm. Prosecutor Kim Worthy said Holcomb's alleged actions are, quote, among the most egregious and deplorable that I have seen in my 30-plus years in criminal law. The facts truly shock the conscience. Police in Allen Park also suspect Holcomb of sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl in that city just 3 hours prior to the attack in Dearborn. We are working this story. We'll have more details when you join us at 5 o'clock. Well, there is a warrant out for the arrest of Detroit Lions cornerback Cam Sutton today. The Hillsborough, Florida County Sheriff posted this Wanted Wednesday image of Sutton on social media this morning, saying he's wanted for aggravated battery domestic violence. That was later amended to domestic battery by strangulation. The sheriff telling people to be on the lookout for a Jeep Grand Wagoneer Sutton may be driving. The warrant was issued back on March 7th for an incident that allegedly happened in Lutz, Florida. That's just near Tampa. Sutton is coming off his first season with the Lions, for whom he played 17 of the team's 20 games. There are 2 years left on his contract, which is worth about $33 million. Lions put out a statement this afternoon saying, quote, we became aware of the ongoing legal situation involving Cam Sutton this morning. We will continue to monitor the situation and will not have further comment at this time. We're going to have more at 5 and 6 on this story. We'll let you know if Sutton is located or taken into custody in the meantime. Time now for our first look at the forecast. Let's send it over to Kim. I was over at the book drive earlier today in Livonia. It was chilly and windy, Kim.
Oh, I was there after you, and it was still very, very cold, and the wind made a difference. But if you want to head out to that event for the children's books, don't let the weather stop you, because you don't even have to get out of your car. We'll come out to you, grab the books, and go. You can stay in your nice, warm car. Downtown is 34 degrees. 1 week ago at this same time, it was 40 degrees warmer. It was 74 degrees. So definitely a change, and you add to it some high wind, and it is a cold day here in Metro Detroit. 33 in Mount Clemens, 30 in Pontiac. Wind chills are only in the teens in Pontiac. It feels like it's 18 degrees, 22 in Ann Arbor, also in Mount Clemens, and it was really that wind that made all the difference outside today. We also had a few snow flurries flying around, still do, but nothing that's totaling up. We will get some measurable snow for Friday that we'll talk about coming up a little later on. But for tomorrow, we'll go back into the upper 30s, a good 7 or 8 degrees below normal for this time of year. The difference tomorrow, we'll get a little more in the way of sunshine, and also the winds will not be as strong. They'll be out of the northwest at 5 to 10. But it stays cold for the next several days, only reaching the upper 30s. A little snow for Friday that could total up. And then next week, finally, we get back into the 50s. But we'll talk about the timing of the snow and amounts of snow for Friday in just a couple minutes.
All right, as you said, today is the first full day of spring, and as customary in Michigan, we've got cold and wind and snowy conditions. But remember, like Kim said, just last week we hit that record high in the 70s. It's been a wild weather year. Paula Tutman is communing with nature for us over in Oakland Township to tell us what we can expect because of it. Hey there, Paula.
Yeah, of course, it is the first day of spring because I'm wearing long johns and I'm still freezing. But with everything, there's good, bad, and there's indifferent. For the last couple of weeks, you may have noticed we've been diving in to this whole weather and climate issue because we wanted to talk to experts so we can kind of get a handle on what this means to all of us. And today we hung out with the folks at the Six Rivers Land Conservancy. Is this the craziest spring you've seen in a while?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it would be close.
When your office is the great outdoors and your job is educating and protecting nature, you get a pretty good read on how our unseasonably mild winter affects the infrastructure of our lives.
And we're starting to see changes in the natural processes, especially changes of timing.
Start with animal life. If you live near water, you've probably already started hearing the peeping frogs. You've probably also seen bluebirds and migrating robins. An interesting factoid is, as our climate changes, so do the migratory patterns of birds and other animals. It also means species we're used to seeing may move to other areas entirely.
Birds that have typically been maybe in this area are starting to move further and further northward as the climate changes.
If you love skiing, snowmobiling, and ice fishing, this year in Michigan was mostly a bust.
I think a lot of folks who enjoy winter sports are starting to feel the disappointment of our shortening winters or less snow, or snow that's not perfect for the sports they enjoy.
But spring has already sprung in Michigan.
This is skunk cabbage. This is one of the first native wildflowers to Michigan that will pop up every year. It's usually the first. When you see this, it means that the natural processes of spring are beginning in Michigan.
And that means boating. And biking seasons start early too.
We have 20,000 acres of metro parks. You got 7,000 acres just in Oakland County parks. I mean, there's a couple 100,000 acres of opportunities down here to get outside and enjoy and appreciate and engage with the nature that supports and sustains us all.
But it also means that if you're walking your dog, you need to check for ticks. And if you are concerned about invasive species, well, there is cause for more concern.
They're gonna be much more readily able to adapt. So an invasive species that we don't see here right now, kudzu, which is horrific down south.
Kudzu.
Yeah, it's horrific down south, but it would not surprise me in the coming years to start to see it appear here, because it's warming up enough that it might actually survive a winter.
Yeah, you know, I learned another interesting factoid that scientists have observed, and that is for every 10 years, there seems to be a 2-day shift in the migratory habits of birds. Of course, Karen, we all get so many notes and messages anytime we do stories on climate change. Listen, a lot of it has to do with the fact that people don't know the difference between weather and climate change. So at 5 o'clock, we're going to tackle that one so people have a better understanding of what it is and what it's going to mean to their pocketbooks.
Oh, looking forward to that. All right, thanks, Paula. All right, March is Reading Month, and Metro Detroiters are coming through in a really big way, helping us collect new or like-new books for children. Our Magic of Reading book drive is in full swing over at Masco Corporation in Livonia. Now, that's just off Haggerty between 6 and 7 Mile Roads. So the books go to K-8 students in schools helped by Chapter One and Teach for America. Damon Fernandez live at the book drive right now. He's been there all day long. It was fun seeing you. We had a good crowd at lunch, and it seems like we're still getting a lot of folks coming in this afternoon, Damon.
Yeah, Karen, the crowd has not stopped coming. Just look, you got somebody here dropping off some books. You got a car pulling up behind us. This has been so successful all day. Just look at these boxes back here. We are trying to fill this truck back here with children's books again for students in grades K-8. So far, the team tells me they've sorted through inside that truck there 6,000 children's books. That's not even including the books here on the table right now and books that continue to keep coming. Now, again, these books are going to benefit 2 local organizations. One of them is Chapter One. They're an organization that helps tutor students in reading. And also they're going to benefit Teach for America Detroit. I want to let you see right now joining me is Armen Harachian. He's Executive Director of Teach for America Detroit. Now look, we didn't expect, or so many people didn't expect this kind of turnout. How significant is this book drive for the work that you and your team is doing in schools across the metro area?
Yeah, well, thank you, WDIV and Masco and everybody for bringing books out here. If you haven't yet, please do. Over 300 high-impact educators and leaders across the state of Michigan that we serve today, and across Detroit, Lansing, Saginaw, but this is primarily for Detroit, right? And you're talking 90,000 students that our teachers are reaching, and having books in classrooms, having books in their libraries, quality books really matters.
And when it comes to the students that you guys are serving, how significant is reading and literacy in the work you guys are doing?
We know learning starts with can you read, right? And too many students are showing up to school not able to read yet. 60% of kids growing up in poverty across the country don't have books at home, right?
Yes.
So a big part of this is to make sure we get books to homes, but also to make sure that there's books in classrooms and libraries, and not just any book, quality books and books that they can take home with them.
Amen. Thank you so much. And we know that these books are going a long way. Karen, you still have about 2 hours to drop off your book donations. We look forward to seeing you out here 6 o'clock. Don't forget it, okay?
All right, sounds great. Thanks, Damon. Love to see the crowd. Oh, by the way, if you order online at Sidetrack Books, they will actually deliver the books to Masco later today. All you need to do is select a book that's in stock and then choose free delivery to Go For It Children's Book Drive. Super easy. You'll find that under the Click to Calculate Shipping tab when you check out. We also want to thank 27th Letter Books. They were out there from 11 a.m. until 2 o'clock selling books to folks who didn't have time to shop. It's been a great day.